A very good evening. Welcome to News Hour. My name is Afriwa Dako. In our first report, some Koforidua residents have raised concerns about the siting of a filling station within a residential area. They say their complaints to the authorities have fallen on deaf ears.
Among the criteria for locating a fuel station are environmental impact assessments and operational licenses issued by the Department of Town and Country Planning and the District Assemblies. Following recent gas and petrol-related fire outbreaks, which resulted in many deaths, some residents of Kantundu Surodai, popularly known as Anlo Town in Koforidua, have voiced their concerns about the siting of a filling station right in the heart of residential blocks. They feel threatened in the event of accidental fire. Following enquiries by GBC24, an assembly member for the area, Madam Doris Akubansa, who has responsibility for the welfare of the residents and acts on behalf of officialdom, stated her view on the matter.
Yeah, baby, I say, so still, I'm see EPA for no, I'm approval, and probably let us know at the Besinko Assembly. They say, yeah, follow up, ocean, so I am on my area. And there's a 14 for EPA for no. They say, I can be out, come some of your Mujaso, and our lawyers, lawyers. They check around your very boku, your minister boku, a Jumano. Now, no cranny meaning some messages, you ever had 2-3 months, I will be as already on my giant. That I am Munya, and to no cranny, I have family. And to Nyaka, just say, Yame. And since you say, please follow this somewhere then, airport, and you still on about Jumano City, you said, I'm a bit tired, humanity or anything.
The Regional Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, Mr. Felix Ado Ochri, explained the role EPA has played for the safety of the residents.
EPA hasn't got, we don't issue construction permits, and we don't have the mandate to ask somebody to build. But we only look at the possible environmental safeguards and also advise on how the safety measures they can put in place, of which we did. So after this, we stayed back. Then we wrote to them officially, informing them that they have gone contrary to the whatever application they put up with us. So they need to correct it.
The Eastern Regional Fire Officer, Joshua Ingwa, said the fire service initially inspected the place to ensure that standards were adhered to. He said the Ghana National Fire Service has not given a filling station full certificate to operate. Mr. Ingwa indicated that the fire service will continue to monitor the place to ensure that they abide by the rules and regulations.
They have the permit, but we're not giving them the full certificate. We have to again make sure that they conform to the standards that we have given them as being given to us by LI 1724. So that is what we are doing, and we will make sure that they carry all these instructions to the hilt. The safety rules and regulations will be carried on to the hilt, and I believe we're putting in enough structure to avoid any disaster. Not that that's not going to be alone. When they start operating, we will continuously be monitoring them to avoid anything from happening.
A recent survey conducted by the Statistical Service reveals that the services sector is booming in the eastern region. More than 70% of business activities in that region are dominated by the services sector. The New Jabi municipality commanded the chunk of new investments, while the Afram Plains North District obtained the least. This was made known during the launch of the Integrated Business Establishments Survey in Koforidua.
The Integrated Business Establishment Survey, IBES, is an economic census carried out by the Ghana Statistical Service in 2015. It seeks to provide a register of businesses in Ghana that meets the needs of policymakers, the private sector, and researchers. The survey was to obtain detailed information on the operations and value-added processes within all the production sectors of the economy. It was to measure the contribution of each sector and region of the country's employment and production. The survey in 2 phases had phase 1 obtaining the business register and phase 2 involving the scientific collection of detailed information on the operation of businesses. The Deputy Government Statistician, Mr. Anthony Amuzu, said research conducted by the Ghana Statistical Service are relevant and reliable.
Indeed, but for the implementation of the IBES, there was very little information about the activities of establishments in the districts within your region. Thus, these 2 reports being launched today, namely the Regional Spatial Business Report and the District Business Register, will bring to the fore critical and relevant data on the non-household economy.
Giving a presentation on the Regional Spatial Business Report, a team member of IBES, Madam Benisewa Ofosu-Buadu, revealed that out of the total number of 58,766 establishments in the region, 48,819 are in the services sector, representing 83.1%. 9,558, representing 16.3%, is in the industrial sector, while the institutional and agricultural sectors had 389, representing 0.7%. The Eastern Regional Statistician, Dr. Enesina Hope Texan, was hopeful that the launch will further broaden participants' understanding of the economic potential of their respective districts. About 50 regional and district directors and budget officers were present at the launch. The head, Industrial Statistics and IBES Coordinator, Mr. Anthony Kakra, spoke to GBC24 in an interview about the district businesses registers and its importance to the districts and region in general.
Usually, if investors want to invest, they want to look at the linkages or what is the existing infrastructure in terms of the businesses that are already there, which will feed into the overall objective or overall factory that they want to set up. For instance, would you get enough raw materials, for instance, based on the establishment that are on the ground? Or for instance, would the establishment that are on the ground consume all your output? And so the linkages that you would expect from your new factory, okay, can inform the type of businesses that you want to establish. And so to a large extent, yes, this information about the detailed information about every establishment in the district of Eastern Region can to a large extent inform policy decisions and investment decisions.
Away from that report, the Ghana branch of the Salvation Army, a Christian denomination, has held its national conference in Accra to celebrate 95 years of its existence in the country. At the ceremony, the world leader of the army, General Andre Cox, advised Christians to be honest and work hard to promote the development of Ghana.
The Salvation Army is a religious denomination that believes that the Christian is a soldier who is saved to save others in a sinful world. The National Convention was preluded with a march past through some principal streets of Accra with a full contingent of regional officers and men from across the 10 regions. The sermon was under the theme, Living the Values of God, drawing from the biblical message in which Christ dined with tax collectors. The world leader of the Salvation Army, General Andre Cox, reminded Christians of the Great Commission to save the sinner, but after which the saved must live like Christ did, denouncing the world and its lustful desires.
To follow Jesus means that we acknowledge that he is in charge, that he is our Lord, that he is our master, and we give up our own personal aims and our own personal ambitions because we want to live the lives that he wants us to live.
The National Convention climaxes the week-long visit of the spiritual leader of the Salvation Army, which saw him call on President Akufo-Addo, inaugurate a cerebral palsy center in Agona Diakwa, as well as meet some leaders of state institutions. Nto Bibininto, GBC24.
The remains of the special aide to the Vice President Kwabena Boadu have been interred in Accra. The 30-year-old died on the campaign trail of the NPP at Wa in the Upper West region. The President Akufo-Addo and the Vice President Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia joined family members to mourn the young man who tied his destiny to theirs, especially on the lines of politics.
The The late Kwabena Boadu died on November 24, 2016, some few days to the December elections, which the New Patriotic Party won. Reports say he was found dead in a bath of a hotel room at Wa in the Upper West region. It was suspected he had been electrocuted. He was born in 1986 and had his education at Star of the East Junior High School at Taifa. He also went to Wesley Grammar High School and later the University of Ghana, where he obtained first-class honors in political science. Kwabena was a founder of Strategic Youth Group of the NPP. The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Baumia, described the late Kwabena Boadu as a colleague, a friend, a confidant, and a younger brother in the 5 years the pair worked together. He said his passing is a major loss not only to him, but the NPP. He said the young chap was one of the architects of the election victory. The MP for Laura, Mr. Anthony Kabo, was the one who brought the late Kwabena Boadu to the NPP. He also described him as a strategist and was consumed by his work.
Kwabena Boadu really will continue to be in our hearts and minds, and we amongst the youth wing and the national youth organizer are looking at initiatives we can put in place to keep his name, his sacrifice, his humility, his dedication to the cause of the party. And indeed, we had to win these elections just to make sure his efforts was never in vain. So we've lost such a great personality. The fact that His Excellency the President could make time to be here and the Vice President of the Republic could be here and the entire party leadership shows you the prominence and the premium that we place on the value of his life. It's difficult. It's really difficult. It's a pain. But like death is inevitable, we can only remember his good deeds and continue to pray that many young people will emulate the example of Kwabena Boadu.
The late Kwabena Boadu was said to be a quiet person with a good sense of humor. He was the son of Madam Georgina Bafu.
The Minister for Education, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, has called for a concerted effort to improve school infrastructure throughout the country to avoid disasters that occur as a result of the dilapidated nature of school buildings. Dr. Opoku-Prempeh made the remarks when he visited the Jama MA School in the Esikuma or Dobin-Brakwa district in the Central Region, where 6 pupils lost their lives when the kindergarten block collapsed on them.
Members of the Jamra community in the Central Region were thrown into a state of mourning when the kindergarten building of the Methodist school collapsed on some pupils, killing 6 of them instantly, whilst 4 others sustained various degrees of injury. The injured are receiving treatment at the Sikuma Hospital. The incident prompted the Minister for Education, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, to visit the town to console the bereaved families. The Chief of Jamra, Nana Kwao Fusu, expressed gratitude to the government and the Education Ministry for showing love and concern. He called on the Ghana Education Service to work with the traditional authorities to ensure improvement on the infrastructure of schools in the country to avert any such tragedy in the future. The Minister for Education, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, extended government's deepest regrets for the calamity that befell the community and pledged their support to the bereaved families and those receiving treatment at the hospital. He was hopeful that very soon all dilapidated school structures will be pulled down to avoid such disasters.
I cannot, if you've not lost a person who is close, you don't feel how much they feel. Nothing can assuage that feeling except to support them. To support them in such trying times. And I believe, as I said, His Excellency brought me here to represent him and to offer our condolences and to support the family through this period. So our widow's mite has gone to the family.
You're still watching News Hour. We're back shortly.
Reporters Roundtable provides viewers with in-depth examination of issues reported on leading media outlets across the world. A lively panel of journalists with comprehensive knowledge in all fields of endeavor, be it politics, health, business, sports, entertainment, information, communication technology, gender, law, international affairs and diplomacy, and a host of others will objectively dissect the matter of contention. On Reporters Roundtable, fairness, objectivity, factuality, and non-partisanship is our hallmark. It's the Double RT Show with Rebecca Ewa. This and every other Thursday from 10 to 12 GMT. Make a date with us. The Reporters Roundtable, all angles, all sides.
Welcome back on the foreign front. Libya's Coast Guard says it has intercepted more than 400 African migrants attempting to reach Europe. This comes the day after EU leaders agreed on moves to curb mass migration from their country. Meanwhile, hundreds of Egyptians have flown to Gabon. Welcome back. Emmanuel Tete Mensah, best known as E.T. Mensah, was a Ghanaian musician who was regarded as a king of high life music. He led the band The Temples, a group that toured widely in West Africa. Our Black History Series Spotlight today is on the late E.T. Mensah.
E.T. Mensah joined the Temples Band in 1947, shortly after the original Temples Band split up. The original Temples Band was formed in 1946 as a jam session group by some European soldiers stationed in Accra. It played for army dances and at the Accra Club. Over time, African musicians replaced the European ones until finally it became an all-African band.
In the daytime you call me Rocco, in the nighttime you call me sweetheart, in the daytime you call me Rocco.
The group gained international attention, and in 1957, Mensah performed with Louis Armstrong. Mensah remained active for years afterwards. He co-starred on a highly successful album with the Nigerian trumpeter Dr. Victor Abimbola Olayaye. Some of E.T.'s songs include You Call Me Rocco and Nkebubaya.
Nkebubaya, 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 da da, da da da, mi tamale.
E.T. Mensah's All For You still rocks.
All for you, E.T., all for you. I dey wait you, Papa. I dey wait you, Mommy. I dey wait you, Papa.
In our last local, the Minister for Finance, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, today addressed the news media outlining his vision and plans for the ministry. On his first day in office on Sunday, 5th January, the Finance Minister said the new administration is committed not to spend beyond budget allocation. Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta also said the ministry under his care would create the necessary condition to make the private sector a channel of revenue mobilization. He further stated that expanding the tax net is always difficult but the National Identification Project would be implemented in order to identify the right taxes to be paid.
Hallmarks going forward will be discipline, ensuring and enforcing proper fiscal and monetary discipline going forward. Economic relief through what we had pledged, targeted tax cuts and also expanding the tax base and cutting costs. And then recovery through expanding this fiscal space by streamlining some statutory funds, an aggressive posture at increasing revenue by expanding both the tax nets and being more vigilant about how our revenue agencies go after.
will take the weather report. Oh, that's it for news. Our talking point is up on your screens.